Okay, now let's go over this tactic. The amount of DMs I've got about this one, I'm going to make it, but I'm going to make it more of an information type video. First of all, if you're struggling, this is not the solution. Okay, just because all the pro players are playing this, and I made a video and I explained the 5-2-1-2 on why this formation, you're very, as soon as you get the ball, like last year, what you could do when I used to give you a 5-4-1 tactic is I used to put one of the center mids on get forward. You can't do that this year. The maximum you can do is you can put, for example, one of your center mids on a playmaker or a box to box. A playmaker attacking will make them the most advanced per se. So when you win the ball back, it's a very slow, diligent formation that you have to be very quick, versatile. You got to do a lot of L1 triggers. Your strike is going to be, you got to wait for your left mid, right mid, wait for your wing back. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm going to ask you, do you want to play slow? Do you want to play so slow? Do you want to do a lot of manual movements? That is why it's very effective. So on the high end, I'm talking about elite players, pro players, it's fine for them to use it. But if you're sitting here and you're in Division 3 right now or Division 2, this is not the formation for you to use. Use what you're comfortable with. Now, I'm going to give you the code. You can copy this because everyone always complains about that. But as usual, I'm going to give you different systems, different setups. This is a combination of my 5-4-1. I based off one the pro players made one ages ago. On Twitter, someone asked me to test it out, but I made some changes. So, do you want to get better at FC25? Now, before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you joined my FC school and you didn't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? I can say this because I've been running my FC school for many, many years and thousands of students join and even stay on. We go over complete in-depth gameplay tutorials showing you both the theory of something and the gameplay examples using real-life examples in a structured format that's like a course. The videos on a systematic learning system teaching you everything from the core mechanics, the basics to the meta so you can get better as a whole with explanations that go beyond the scope of my YouTube channel. FC School has already started with every single tactical layout, focuses, meta cards, and learn the meta before it even becomes the meta. So come join thousands of others in a mature audience community for those looking to get better at FC25, patreon.com/nilguides, or click the link down below. Now, when you join, we already have a library of hundreds of videos, more than my YouTube channel, in fact, with new videos on FC25 getting constantly added so you'll never run out of content. The biggest mistake people do is they spend thousands of dollars on FP points every year thinking this will make them better, but it won't. But now it's time for you to make that change. Don't forget, if you don't get better after 1 month, just send me a message and I'll refund your money. That's the Nil Guides guarantee. Links down below in the description, patreon.com/nilguides. This is what I have, okay? So for the striker, I have on poacher attack. This will help because poachers make runs in behind, okay? So if you are feeling isolated, at least you've got one outlet. Now, I know maybe you could argue an advanced forward may be better because you can at least pass the ball to that player's feet when you win the ball back. But I know a lot of, for example, players just want to go route one. As I said, this is a very slow formation. You know, when you get the ball with this player, you got to lob the ball to that side. There's going to be precision lob passes, waiting for that player to overlap. A lot of lobbing the ball from the side to side. So if you're playing quick and direct, this is not the formation for you. And to be honest, the only reason why I'm making this is, I'm going to tell you a little secret. The more the masses get influenced by this formation, the higher chance something like this would be patched. So I have a voice, you could argue. I'm going to try to use my best as possible to remove these firebacks from the game. But everyone's asked about it, but that's right. Poacher strike, okay? Now, for one center mid, I have them holding defend. Now, when you're attacking, this is where you're going to be the most vulnerable. In fact, if any of you guys know my 4-4-2 or my 4-2-2, the 4 players on stay forward. So, in order to stop getting counterattacked, at least have the holding player or one player on holdings. That way, when you lose possession of the ball and your opponent comes at you, at least you got one player in midfield that you can at least go towards the ball carrier. Because the last thing you want, for example, is your opponent to have the ball in between your defensive line and where your attacking players are, because that's where it will cost you. So have at least one of these players on holding. It provides balance. To be honest, if you want to be really a rat, now I'm not going to say I'm condoning this, but you can, if you want, put both of these players on holding. That's what I would recommend if you really struggle. But again, this should not be the formation you'd be using. I'd much prefer using like a 4-1-2-1-2, for example, with one of the fullbacks join the attack, then use this formation over here. For the strikers, the left mid and right mid, inside forward, when you win possession back, they're going to be wide. They're going to be as wide, and then they're going to go into a narrow shape. And then when the fullbacks are going to overlap, they're the ones that are going to provide the width. So you could argue in attack, they're going to be, I'm not going to say they're going to be like the 4-3-2-1s of last year. People keep asking me, but they're going to be, think of it like occupying the half spaces, I would probably say, in those areas. It depends on, you know, how wide your opponents, have they got a 5-back, have they got a 4-back? It also depends, because now you can't adjust width manually. Now, one, the center mids, I have them on playmaker. You could put them on box to box, but playmaker is the most advanced role that I have. Now for the left mid and right mid. Now, what I'd recommend is if you want to, you can put these on inside forwards balanced. But then I feel like they don't have the same effect. So a lot of people are suggesting that, oh, look, let me make them more formation, more ratty, let them come back. But by doing that, not only are you losing the attacking threat, you're losing the counter attack threat. So leave these on attack. Okay, the only thing I can recommend changing here is making this play an advance forward, because sometimes you'll win the ball back and you don't want this player making runs it behind. If you're happy with pressing L1 triggers yourself, then you can put this player to advance forward. Okay, now for the defenders, in terms of ball playing center backs, look, I'm going to be honest, for most people here, unless you're an elite player, don't use a ball playing center back, because if you lose the ball, you're going to be in trouble. They push up so high. Maybe you could argue you could go with a conservative approach of like a ball playing center back. Defend as opposed to build up play, but that's just something that I would say not to delve down. You know, people are getting conceded on counter attacks, losing the ball. That's the last. I'd rather have all your 3 defenders on, for example, defenders defend, and have both your center mids on playmaker attack, for example, or one at least on holding, as opposed to having these players on build up. Although it seems logical, trust me, it will cost you defensively. You could try it yourself and you will see what I'm talking about. Now, the attacking wing backs, they're on balance. Now, I have Batch and Kimmich. Now, Kimmich is not someone I should be using here, but I was just doing some testing out. But if you have the plus, someone like Batcher with a shadow is very, very good. You ideally want pace here, because when you win the ball back, they're going to be going back and forward, back and forward. Now, my personal top tip is I put these players on attacking, okay? Especially if they've got the plus variation, they make the movement quicker. So at least try to get an attacking wing back plus is what I would say. Because otherwise, they're not going to move as quick and they're going to rely a lot of L1 trigger. This is what I'm trying to say. A lot of these pro players, it's all manual work, guys. L1 triggers. People don't understand. The pros do the basics very well. The top 10% they add, like the Travellas from outside the box, the mechanic abusing, that's what they got to do to win. It's their job at the end of the day. But their fundamentals and basics are up here. We have average players here, like in Division 3, don't even know how to make a pass without face. They make a 180 no-scope pass, wondering why they're losing, copying his formation, and still getting upset why they're losing. Learn the fundamentals this year. So important. But anyway, look, I'd recommend the wing-back attack. Yes, it makes it more attacking. I don't mind. Maybe they stay a bit more in front, but at least you have some sort of attacking outlet. The key thing with this formation is you're going to be defensively solid when all of your team come back together. So maybe that's the only use case of leaving them unbalanced. And then on the counter attack, I would say, unless you're a pro player using player lock or elite player, you're going to struggle. But your best threat on attack is let all your players go forward and then build up your attack. So if you try and play Route 1 football, this is not the way to do it, in my opinion. Leave the goalkeeper on this system. Now, tactics, okay. Now, a lot of the pros use balanced. I'd recommend using counter attack, because when you lose the ball, you want these players to be making these runs going forward. Without that, you're going to be finding this formation, players not going to move. Counter attack, think of this like long ball and fast build up together, mash together, amalgamate together, and that's what counter attack is this year. You only have balance. Do not use short passing with this formation. Just do not use it. You want to be using counter. A lot of the pros would use balance. It's different. Use counter attack. At least AI will help you, because players will make runs in behind, and then you have that counter attack threat. Because a lot of people are using this formation, they're thinking, oh, the pros are using it, it must be the best. They're using it, and they're struggling, and they're wondering why after. Maybe because no one listens to me, but who knows? Then we go to the defensive approach. Now, this one is what I would say. Look, a lot of pros have a higher depth. Look, I would say go more of a neutral depth. I would say the furthest I'd probably go beyond going into the high territory would be 60. That's the highest that I would go. You could argue, what I say is, if you're part of the Patreon, so I've seen the video already, but between 59 and 39 is the best. So if you want to make it balanced but very defensive, you could make it 31. I'm not recommending that. But you want to be higher up the pitch, because the further you sit back and the deeper you are, you're going to end up having further to go. At least you sit high, you win the ball back, you're going to be defensively solid, and at least you can get the ball back and counter quicker. Okay, so 59, 60, whatever you want to do for the balanced. I wouldn't go into the high territory. I think that's too attacking. Again, a lot of this, I said to you at the end of the day, look, a lot of this formation, right? This won't work well for you. I'm telling you, this is not going to work well for you. This might work well for you for 5 runs, and you might think, oh, this is the best formation ever, but I promise you're going to come back and check that tactic out. Am I saying use as your sole formation? No. Maybe leave it in on one of your attacking slots, as I mentioned in my Wiki Tactics video. Maybe leave it like as a defensive formation. but don't use this as a formation for the entire game. You're going to need a 4-1-2-1-2 or 4-2-2-2 or even a 5-2-1-2, something like that, which is a bit more normal. Unless you're sitting here and you're a pro player or you're elite player and you're just spamming those L1 triangles, those position lob passes, those player locks, and you're playing like a rat, then that's a different story. But for most people watching this video, ask yourself this: when you use this formation, did the formation actually make you any better? Are you actually seeing any improvement? Ask yourself that question. But anyway, look, hope this video helped. That's 5-4-1 tactics. These are the tactics that I would recommend at the end of the video, because I had to get the first one up because everyone's always jumping up and down saying I want the tactics immediately, but they don't understand that I try to go through different variations. But that's the ones that I'd recommend. If you are struggling, put both these players on holding, and a left back, right back, you can put them on balance as well. If you are really struggling, you really want to try to 5-4-1, and you want to make it a bit more defensive. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you want to get better FC, come to my Patreon. So it's patreon.com/know guys and learn the basics, just like how all the pros know all those basics at the top level, learn everything about FC, all the detail. Of course, I can't put in a 10-minute YouTube video, but I can put in a 45-minute Patreon video. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next. Don't forget to go better for 1 month. We'll refund your mindset. No guys guarantee. Catch you next time. Peace.